World's fastest bumper car update. Welcome back to Bump 200. And as you can see, everything is up in the air. In an effort to attract more female viewers, we are going pink in this episode. Yes, we have dug out the engine stand from Ricky Booby's backyard, where it has been seriously hammered by the Arizona sunshine. I think it used to be red. Anyway, we're going to be trying to put that on it. I'm not sure if it's going to even work. I don't know. But it's worth a go, isn't it? Because I want to start work on the exhaust system and of course the chassis. And I think I want to try and use at least the downpipes from the original R6. So, how do we get it from there to there? Well, not the way we got it out of the bike. That was a bit of a shambles, I have to say. No, we have actually got the engine crane here because we got another project, a Kawasaki project. If you're not watching that, please do. And I used that to lift up the front end to do the fork swap, which, as you can see, is halfway through because the top bearing didn't fit. Anyway, that's another story. The point is, we have the engine crane. Hoist. So, first up, we have to remove the Kawasaki. And I guess we're going to have to remove the Honda to get to the motor, even to wheel it out somewhere in the middle where we can get to it. And it's a dance craze in this house. It's called the Garage Shuffle. And there we go. We have a little bit of space to work in. You can imagine how little space I had to work in when there were 7 bikes in here. Luckily, there's only 4.5 now. Right, so these are the original engine bolts, as you can tell, M10 by 125. They are not long enough to go through these boys that hold it on the stand. So I've had to buy these two, and that's... Actually, I think we're going to mount it this side, actually. Anyway, that's where they're going to mount. But right now, we've got to find some other mounting points to lift the bloody thing up using our chain. Right, I think we're ready to lift it. Bear in mind, all that is basically on that pin there. Yeah. So of course I'm wearing my steel toe cap cone free slippers because we wouldn't want to drop anything on our little tootsies now, would we? Okay, we're officially airborne. Alrighty, that's one bolt in, and then we got to get the other one, i.e. that one over there, into here. Chains are now slack, and therefore it is literally sitting on those two 10mm bolts. And it seems okay for now. But overnight I'm going to just crank that up so that if those snap or something, at least it's not going to drop on the floor. So I'm going to take them up so that there's just a little bit of slack on there. Like that. Well, it's certainly given us room to explore the exhaust side of things. What that is, it looks like bloody tow bar. It's not. So that gives us a chance to look at that and other things. Possibly. Now I know I've been boring you with measurements, but yeah, that is 14 inches across. And then another couple of inches for the whatever that is, clutch. But I just want to show you how amazing this is in terms of modern bikes. And I was watching a video only last night actually on the Honda CBX, a 6-cylinder 1000cc Honda, which is an incredible bike. It sounds amazing. If you haven't already, watch some videos on the CBX and the sound particularly, because it sounds like a bloody Formula 1 car. Anyway, the reality was that they kind of switched everything around to make the motor as narrow as possible, bearing in mind it was a 6-cylinder. So this is 14 inches across. This is a 650 from the 1970s, late 1970s. A 1977 Kawasaki 650, so pretty much the same engine size, and from there to there, 20 inches. What were they thinking, man? They just bolted everything on the outside, basically. So, my thanks to Honda for rethinking where they could put stuff, because otherwise, potentially, this world record would not be possible, even though we're using a Yamaha to beat the current record set by Honda. Is that ironic? I don't know. So, there's the exhaust fitted up, and as I remarked when I was doing the Yamaha, for which this whole motor has been sacrificed, they go forward quite a lot, which is quite extraordinary. But I don't think that's going to be a problem. And even the fact that they go underneath, which was an issue as far as Mr. Furs was concerned with his Honda motor, I don't think this will be either, honestly, because as you can see, they kind of tuck them into the bottom of the oil sump there, so there's only like an extra inch. So we may be able to leave them complete. I was thinking we'd have to hack them off somewhere in the middle there, but we may be able to leave them complete at least until they join into one, or rather two, and then do something clever with them when they exit the oil sump. Now we've got it on the engine stand, it's a lot easier to see, at least begin to look at how we're going to mount this thing onto a chassis, and it's not going to be easy. The main engine mounts are here and here because it hung from the frame, if you remember. But we got some other options which I quite like. There's these boys at the front, they're part of the block, so they're pretty solid. There's the guys at the back, at the bottom, which went through the bottom of the frame. That bit, to be precise. Yeah, that bar there. And then we got these guys at the top, which are also went through the frame. And I kind of like those. So I think I'm going to have to do some measuring and some drawing, and then run that by a few people. Oh, I know, it's not my best effort, but those top mounts at the front are 15 inches apart. The others lower down are 12 inches apart, and those two at the back are 6 1/4, because they went through that section. Those two bars there basically are 6 1/4 inches long. They look longer, don't they? And that's how it sits in the car. So I think we need to get sketching on the computer. We're exploring engine mounts, and we're cutting metal, and that means safety goggles. These are my real ones, can't see out the other ones. So, two things going on here. Firstly, a bit of old office furniture, which could go something like that. And the chassis frame I'll kind of Photoshop in now. Or could go something like that. Yeah. So that's the front mount, which is off these ones here, which weren't actually mounts. And then on the back, we've got some Ford alternator mounts, which I happen to have left over from a bike project, and they'll either go through, so there's two of them here, they'll either go through the top hole and sit low in line with the bottom of the oil sump, probably just about in line with the exhaust in fact, or they'll go high and sit on a rail that comes just under the water pump there, which makes these original engine mounts pretty much redundant, but I'm sure we can hang something off them. We like options. Not dissimilar to that, in fact. As you'll see, fits in the sketch nicely if we flip it. There you go, something like that. In fact, something exactly like that, i.e. 2 inches by 1 is perfect. Probably. And whilst this stuff looks flimsy, we may use something not dissimilar because we are going for a speed record, not an endurance record. And I'm a great believer in Colin Chapman of Lotus fame. Yes, adding lightness and anything that lasts longer than it's supposed to achieve is over-engineered. And on that note, I think we'll call it a day. We had some progress, we had a few sparks. Next time we'll be doing some welding, hopefully. So as usual, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching again. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so down there somewhere. And of course, give the video a thumbs up, right? Yes. And what else? Oh yeah. Encourage others to watch my lunacy.